We are talking about Sadguru Sadafaldeo ji Maharaj. This is the fifth day about him. Last week we had discussed about starting his beginning of his journey, then his further spiritual journey, what he gained, how the eternal master helped him by giving him even darshan also and authorized him as the Sadguru. And then we discussed about how Sadguru Sadafaldeo ji Maharaj established Vihangam Yoga organization in 1924, and on a pre-specified date, pre-specified time and place in front of hundreds of people, Sadguru Sadafaldeo ji Maharaj left his mortal body. And more interestingly, he narrated from the void, the Akashwani, after leaving his body immediately thereafter. Sadguru Sadafaldeo ji Maharaj is an authority to liberate you, liberate all those who are eligible ones. Are we ready to experience this? That's the biggest question. What is in it for us? That's the question. What is in it for me? That's the real question which has to be asked here. Are we ready? Then the counter question is, are we ready to experience it? Sadguru Sadafaldeo ji Maharaj mentioned that follow my principles, the one which I had gained through my whole strenuous penance of 17 years. I have designed the principles under the guidance of the eternal master, under the guidance of the supreme being. Follow that principle. I will take you to the zone of immortality. That he has pledged, that he has declared, that I will take you to the zone of immortality. You just need to follow my principle as it is. And this is the uniqueness of the path of Vihangam Yoga. It's not just to say, it's not just to hear, it's actually about to experience and let it happen in our life. But how would this happen? How would we be able to follow the principles of the master? There has to have certain criteria which should come inside us. And he mentioned about those things also. He mentioned that there are 3 pillars to follow that principle. We have to practice meditation, which he said, dharana, dhyan, which makes us eligible to purify ourselves. And then he said, do the service. What kind of service? Service is the selfless service. This is a big thing. Doing selfless service is not that easy. The ego always comes into the picture in one way or another, and it creates lots of disturbance to us not to be selfless. It will create its own imprinting, and it will drag us to be a little bit more selfish when we do the service. Sadguru Sadafaldeo ji Maharaj said that there is a way to do the selfless service. And how that is possible? When we surrender ourselves to the master and then we perform the service, it becomes the selfless service, because we are not doing that service for ourselves, for our self-satisfaction. It is to serve the master, and that's how that surrendership helps us to do the selfless service. The 3rd pillar is the spiritual discussion. This is a very simple example here. Every day we are discussing 5 to 7 to 10 minutes about spirituality. This is a small version of that spiritual discussion which Sadguru Sadafaldeo ji Maharaj mentioned. So there are 3 pillars: sadhana, seva, and satsang. Meditation practice, the selfless service, and spiritual discussion. These 3 should happen. We should be connected to all these 3 on a daily basis. On a daily basis. Doesn't matter how much time we invest in this, but we should be connected to these on a daily basis, because our objective is to purify ourselves. Our objective is to surrender ourselves to the principles of the master, to the master himself. He, Sadguru Sadafaldeo Maharaj, can connect with any one of us. Any one of us. That's his uniqueness. But can we connect with him or not? How do we connect with him? He has his own ways to connect with us because he is the fully knowledgeable person to connect to the soul. But how do we connect? We would be able to connect to him only once we become eligible. And that eligibility comes once we improve. Where do we have to improve? We have to improve in our meditation. We have to improve in our selflessness during the service. We have to improve ourselves understanding the spiritual concepts, even theoretically. Unless and until there is an honest improvement, the eligibility will not come through. So purification is very important. And that's how, under that purification, that connection starts happening. This is our own journey. My journey is my journey. Your journey is your journey. Every single person has his or her own journey. What we have is the best what we deserve right now. But is that enough? Do we need something more? Do we need to upgrade ourselves? Do we need to improve ourselves? Check with yourself. Ask this question to yourself. Where we stand, what we need to progress on that. Sadguru Sadafaldeo Maharaj has given us each and every tool and technique in the form of meditation, selfless service, spiritual discussion, to surrender ourselves, to purify ourselves. This is only possible when we follow the principles, the guidance of the Master himself. Sadguru Sadafaldeo Maharaj is waiting for all those eligible ones. Are we one of them? Check yourself. Thank you very much for listening.